Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikkel. So today you guys, I really wanted to talk about the whole process of having to grieve your old self and how hard that can be sometimes. I want to talk about it because I feel like other people can relate to it, because I know I have been through it. And you know, I feel like social media will make it seem like, you know, everything is seamless and everything is it just flows and it just aligns. I'm not saying that's not the case. People respond to different things in life differently, so I can't say that's not someone else's experience, but for me, I know that hasn't always been my experience, and I just know other people can just feel where I'm coming from. I feel like it's really important to bring awareness to the fact that that's not everybody's experience. So when I say grieving our old selves, that means really just having to leave behind who we once were and transition and step into who we are now. So when that happens, that means that there are changes that are happening around you to allow you to be where you need to be. And so how you respond to that change will then determine if it's going to be seamless or if it's going to be difficult. And not everybody responds to change the same way. And this whole process of going from one version to the next, it teaches you how to respond to change, if that does make sense, if you are having a difficult time with it. So it's definitely a character development moment in it. But you know, the whole point of having to just leave behind who we once were is because obviously you've come in a point of your journey where you're evolving, and it comes to a point where like who you are, your whole identity, it no longer will work with where you want to go. Again, depending on how you respond, it can kind of flow, or you can be stagnant for a while until you learn to let go of that old version of yourself. So the universe will literally shift your foundation to where like a lot of things around you are happening, and it can kind of seem chaotic, and there's different internal battles, and you're emotionally exhausted sometimes. People that you once idolized, people that you once look up to, the universe starts exposing those people to where you're no longer resonating with these people that you were once friends with, people that you were once in a relationship with, people that may be your family members. Like the universe is exposing them. The things that you're listening to, the things that you're watching, the things that you're intaking, like it's no longer working. Even down to what you are eating can affect your evolvement. So many things about you that can literally change and literally can be so drastic. Things that you wouldn't even think like, okay, I need to change about myself to go where I need to go. Like you wouldn't even think, but all of those things start to like come to the surface, and you realize, okay, like all of these changes and where the universe wants me to be is getting kind of hard, and it's getting kind of difficult. So even for me, you guys, I'll give you guys an example of the difficulties that I had to encounter. I remember one night just like being, because you know when you in your bed at night, like a lot of different thoughts come to you, and sometimes it's not always the best thing, because sometimes you kind of like overthinking things. But I remember like being in my bed at night and just crying, like boohoo crying, because everything around me just seemed so chaotic, and there was just so many different changes. And I remember just like hating my life and just saying like out loud, like I really hate my life. And like sometimes I wonder how it would be to just be ignorant, you know. How would that be? It would just be so much easier to be ignorant and to not know certain stuff, so I could have friends, and so I could be engaged and to get married and to have kids when I wanted to have kids, and all of this kind of stuff. Like how easy would it be to just be ignorant and to not even know certain things? But that's the thing, it's like when you're in too deep and you start coming very aware of certain things, you know that can never be. You know you can never go back because you know way too much. So you can either stay stagnant and stay in this awkward place, or you can learn to just move on and accept, you know, who you are and where you're going. And that's the whole part of the grieving. Like literally, sometimes you have to cry in the midst of this transition, because it's not always easy. And if you have to cry, then you have to cry. But you know, you have to feel those emotions. Like ideally, if you were grieving someone, you would cry. You would go through different emotions. So the whole process of losing yourself is somewhat the same. So some things, you guys, that really helped me. Realizing that life is an experience. And even though I no longer resonate with doing certain things or like different things that were about me, I still got to experience those things, and now I'm just part of this life experience where I'm experiencing different things and not the same things, if that makes sense. So it's kind of having that mindset and just learning how to accept that for what it is. So that's part of like the acceptance, learning to accept like, hey, I'm no longer who I once was, and I no longer can be who I once was because it no longer works. Another thing that really helps is just grounding myself. So finding things and doing things that are healthy and good for my soul development, to where like I'm in a better mood and I'm much happier. Another one, you guys, is meditating. Not just at night, but meditating in the morning. Like just meditate in the morning and watch how much of a difference it makes in your life. It makes in your day, especially when you're grieving and stuff. You go through like all these different emotions. Sometimes you don't always feel the best, but if you meditate in the morning, just watch how much of a difference it makes, because you're literally, you know, before you start your day, you're meditating, and it's like you're in that, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like you're having that connection with the divine and spirit, and it's like it is something about doing it in the morning and then going about your day and seeing how good of a day you may have. And so that really can help. Realizing what motivates you in that moment to want to keep evolving and thinking about where you want to be. I think that's really good, especially when you're going through these changes and you're trying to kind of walk away from certain stuff that no longer aligns with you. And some of those things may be difficult to like kind of get away from. Think about what motivates you. You know, your own personal motivation. It can be, you know, different. Obviously, it looks different for other people and for everybody. But just think about that when you really feel really down, or when you feel like you're regressing and getting back into bad habits and old ways of yourself. Really think about that. Also, you guys, the last thing, which I think is a really good idea, is get you a notebook or somewhere in your phone where you have notes. Write down the new you, and then write down everything that you're learning and discovering about the new you. So likes, dislikes, lifestyle, things that you love, like all that. Just write it down. Start a list, and every day as you discover new things or you resonate with new things, write it down. And that's how you'll get to learn yourself better and to see like how much you're growing and how much you're evolving. And I think that's really going to help you accept who you really are becoming. And as you continue to accept change and accept like where the universe is taking you, you're going to get messages, whether it's in angel numbers, where it's in dreams, where it's however you get messages from spirit. You're going to be getting these messages to just give you that reassurance that you're on the right path and everything that you're doing like is for your best good. And so the more that you continue to accept the change that's going around you, the more messages that you're going to get. And even though it can be difficult for some people, because like I said, it was difficult for me, it eventually gets better. It eventually gets better with time, especially when you learn to not fight it and just go along with where the universe is taking you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, leave them down below, and I'll talk to you guys later.